Hey you guys, today I'm going to talk about the Mob Wives Season 5 Reunion Part 1. Don't have no notes, so we'll have some notes, but hey, we're going to talk about it. I'm so tired of these two parts. Are y'all tired of these two parts? Because I be feeling like this first part, we saw most of this in the season. Like, besides them finally Storm and Landon and all of them sitting down talking, all of this other stuff we saw play out through the season. We saw them explain this certain stuff through the season when they was doing sit downs and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, huh? But they talked about Karen being back in New York and Renee happy that her homegirl is back in New York. The other girls didn't have a problem with it. Who cares? They talked about first of all, let me say, Vivica Fox was the host. My bad. She was the host. She didn't do good and she didn't do bad. Shit, cause like I said, we saw most of this play out through the season, so I didn't. Now I give it to her jumping up, cause usually the hosts try to run when people jump up, so at least she wasn't scared to jump in the middle when they was yelling. But other than that, I'm like, okay, she did an okay job. She just wasn't no hoo hoo. But anyway, they talked about Big Ange and Renee's beef and how they got everything squared away, and talking about family and how Big Ange had got really really heated when it came between her and Renee. Was Renee scared? No. Because I think she said, how did she feel when Big Ange was coming at her? Okay, bitch would have got hit. Like, cause she big. Okay. But yeah, they talked about that, and it was just, like I said, it was just a boring part. And then they asked, Nally or something about it, and she was like, well, thank you for sticking up for me. I'm like, bitch, that fight didn't have nothing to do with you. You just wanted to be about you. So I'm glad Renee called you out on that, because I'm like, they beef didn't have anything to do with you. They beef was about family and her dude testifying against old girl cousin. That didn't have shit to do with you. You just want to be the center of attention. Anyway, moving on from that, let's talk about the Victoria Gotti situation, because they did bring that up, and Renee was just like, okay, yeah, I was shocked that she was there, because I'm like, she don't know me, so why is she here? But she did help them, get back to talking, and I do agree with that. That kind of set the tone for them to talk, and then the other girls had kind of pushed it along for them to talk on that boat. But yeah, but Renee was like, she is not the boss of me. We are all our bosses in our family. She's the boss of her family, but not the boss of me. She was like, no disrespect, but she ain't the boss of me. And I'm sorry. Them Gottis did that shit way back in the 70s, 80s, probably the 80s. So she just like Beyonce to me. She put her goddamn clothes on just like I put my clothes on. Don't nobody put fear in nobody's heart just because of their last name. I remember that shit when we were like, do you remember that, like, when you were in school and then they always had this one person that had this big family after school that people used to be scared of, or used to be like, oh, they family don't play. I was always the one to be a test the card, because I'm like, bitch, my family ride or die too. I don't know why y'all think motherfuckers got only one person got a family. When motherfuckers, I'm just saying, I hate when people do that. Cause I'd be like, okay, she a Gotti, okay. I would have been like, okay, and I would have brought out my last name. Okay, what's your point? But yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. The whole thing got, to me, pumped up is when Storm and Landon came out there. Cause with the bitches, I didn't even care. But with Storm and Landon, I like Storm. It's something about his swag. It's something about his, like, demeanor about him. I like Storm. He's just like a manly man to me. I just like him. He ain't got, it ain't no bitch made about him. Like, he didn't dress up to be at that damn reunion. Landon, a little suspect. And I don't mind men wearing pink, but I do mind men, straight men, wearing pink with a motherfucking green and colorful ass scarf in the middle, and then it's tight to the motherfucker, then his nuts is hanging, and you can see the print of his clothes too damn tight to be a straight man. It's something like, can your nuts breathe? His whole wardrobe, whole wardrobe was wrong. Not Karen, Natalie G and her dude outfit was wrong. My thing with Natalie, why wear that dress if you're gonna go like this the whole time? The whole time. The whole fucking hour that the show was on, she fixing her dress. I'm like, girl, go get a t-shirt, go get a pen. I don't know who styled them, but it was all the way the fuck wrong. She always gotta have her titties out, and I'd be like, okay, maybe if you single, but when you have a man, that shit ain't cute. That every time we see you, your titties are displayed. I don't know. Maybe he like it. Well, he's a buster any motherfucking way. So they start talking about Storm and Karen's relationship first. And about the girl being in the house and how she'll pop off next time again if that shit happen again. And like I said before, I believe Storm when he said what he said. I think the situation was they probably was coming back from hanging out, the club or wherever they was hanging out at. His homeboy had a girl, or not a girlfriend, but a jump off. And early that morning, she had to pee. He like, all right, let me go and let her pee real quick, and then I'll let her back out. But in the meantime, Karen ended up coming downstairs or out the room or wherever she came from, and then popped off. But I don't think it was a girl for Storm. And she said that he never gave her no reason to question him. So I really think they're a really cute couple. What else did they talk about with just between their relationship? I don't remember. I don't care. Then they start talking about Landon and Natalie's relationship, and they show how she be punking him through it. She punked him through the season. And how she was fucking him on the goddamn couch. Because every time she would get into it with somebody, he would try to calm her down, and she'd be like, don't touch me. Don't say nothing to me. And I'm sitting there like, you just keep pulling this boy man card, like, for real, for real. He just becoming a little boy in our eyes every time they show him because you pull his fucking man card. And, like, she just irritated. She kept on talking, and I was just like, her and Renee, I just kept saying, shut the fuck up. But anyway, they started talking about like their relationship or who cared. Then they brought up the point of Landon and him getting his face slashed. And Landon said a guy just walked up and slashed his face. Don't know why, just walked up. Motherfucker, yeah, right. I understand he ain't a part of that life, but you have been on My Wives 2 seasons. Your girl always popping off. And you probably had beef and they was like, oh yeah, motherfucker, when we see you, it's on and popping, and they saw you and it wasn't no words exchanged and they did what they had to do. But you know what that was about, and y'all knew who it was because y'all had pictures of him. So then they brought up all of that, and then they brought up how, they brought up this whole rat thing. And they brought up how, they made a police report and they had posted the boy pictures on Instagram to try to fine him for the police. And she was like, yeah, I did that for the police and Crime Stoppers and yada, yada, yada. And, they like, bitch, that's a rat. You talk about every motherfucking body else is a rat. That is rat move. I'm sorry. I'm from Compton. I'm from the hood, and that is motherfucking code of being a rat. That ain't got nothing to do with being in the mob. That just got something to be in the hood. Like, listen, that is called being a motherfucking rat. Cause homegirl, He was supposed to go call his homeboys, and they were supposed to go handle that and pop that shit off besides calling the cops. Now, I get it. You know, in the real world, people that live in the suburbs, yeah, they would call the cops. But people, my cousin them, I'm just saying, they would have been busting in doors. I'm just saying. So I get with both sides, cause like Drita said, Landon is not about this life. His girl ain't either. But Landon ain't about this life. That's why I don't understand why they're on the show. She's not a wife. He's not in the mob. They're not gonna get married. Well, if they do get married, she still won't be a mob wife. She will be a regular wife. So I don't get why Natalie's on the show. I don't. Now, Karen, if she marries Storm, he about that life. He might not be in the mob, but he's that street nigga, like, for real, for real. So, okay. But her and, the rest of them, they got mob ties. They were mob wives, you know what I'm saying? So I get why they're on the show. But Natalie, you're not a mob wife, a mob girlfriend. He's not about this life. You not about this life because you quit the fucking call the police. Then she said her brother was a cop. Unless he's a dirty cop, I don't think the mob would appreciate that. I don't know. Maybe it's just the movies I've seen, but I don't think the mob would really appreciate your brother being a cop. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's just me. But like I said, they talked about that bullshit, and then they start talking about I liked how Storm checked the fuck out of Landon because Boobop over there, Natalie, she just kept on mouthing off, talking all kind of stuff, and Karen and Storm ain't with that shit. Storm started talking shit back to Karen, and London was like, I appreciate it if you stop talking to her like that. Who, my nigga? He told him something about, I say whatever I want, my nigga. Like, I know he said my nigga, that's for damn show. I wasn't even just mad at it. Because he looked like he hangs with some. But I'm just saying. But yeah, I liked how he checked the shit out of Landon. And Landon did not go back at him. Landon don't want that with Storm. He don't. And you can tell by his whole demeanor. He don't want that with Storm. I don't think he's like a scary dude. I just feel like they on two different playing fields. They in two different worlds. And that ain't the world that Landon is about. And that's the world that Storm is about. So I'm just all here for Storm. They asked Drita about it, and she was like, yeah, I understand, yeah, it was a rat move, but him being a regular guy, I get it. That's why I said why they on the show. They start talking about Landon admitted that because they brought up the whole situation of the cop calling between Natalie and she saying she calling the cops on Karen and Storm or whatever. And she was like, but yeah, people were around and they heard threats and like she was like, it was witnesses. And Storm was like, bitch, that's rat talk. Like, you keep talking about rats and that is rat talk. And she was like, but you married a rat. You go with a rat. Her daddy was a rat or some shit. But like everybody keeps saying, dumbass, what do Karen have to do with her daddy snitching? She didn't snitch. What do that have to do with any fucking thing, you dumbass little girl? She is so dumb and immature, just like Karen said. Like, she's a pretty girl, but she's dumb as hell. That's what makes her the way she is, and that's why people don't like her. They kind of going back and forth, and then we find out that she's a racist bitch, and I'm like, I could have told y'all that. I told y'all I ain't never liked her. I had never liked her. She always popping off. She's like a mini Drita to me, always popping off and ain't busting the motherfucking grapes. So I just can't get with that. I don't understand. The reunion is taped. So that means the rest of the season was already taped. Why was Drita and Big Ann still so cool with Natalie? They were sitting on that couch like they were still cool with her, like that dinner party never happened. I know they're going to bring that up on the second part, but it still looked like they were cool with her. And I don't understand that part. And I don't give a fuck when nobody say, I think her and Big Ann do drugs together. I really, really do. It's something about that that just ain't fucking right. That whole thing with Victoria Gotti and Karen ain't scared. She was like, okay, she don't like me. Okay, and what? If she want to have a talk, now what? Because I feel like, bitch, she just a woman just like I am. She get a period once a month, just like, well, she probably don't know more. But I'm just saying, like, who's scared of her? I don't get it. But that's all I got for my Wise season 5 part 1 reunion. It wasn't a lot. It really wasn't. I hope they bring out Nat D next week and it gets a popping because this first part wasn't good. That's why I don't even understand why my damn thing is over 15 minutes because the show wasn't good. All I know is Natalie's a punk and I don't know why she on the show. I don't know why Drita would take it up for Natalie even when they was talking about the families and Karen kept saying the bitch kept coming at my family or whatever and Drita was like, well, you talked about my family. Bitch, you stole her man. Like, and had a family with him. My girl, shut up. She had all rights to talk about you. In this season, she really didn't even talk about you. So you just want to be seen. Anyway, my review. Tell me what y'all thought about it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, Xbox Live. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Alright, peace out.